Hi, this video is not about vintage computers. It's more about, well, it is about my NAS server or media server, or what do you want to call it. Anyway, I wanted to have a NAS, but I wanted to do something, I wanted to have something very, very different. So I looked around and I had probably most of the parts. So yeah, I built my own homemade NAS. I did it back in 2020, I believe, and I used a lot of two-component glue. I also used some what's called baking powder and super glue, and I also found that super glue and cotton gives almost the same result. Well, you apply it differently, but yeah, it becomes rock hard, exactly like baking powder and super glue. Anyway, it's based on a orange pie, an old orange pie, probably from 2017, 2018 or something. But that's an old one, and it's not a fast machine, but it's fast enough for me, and well, that's what counts. Yeah, for the power input, looks but ugly, but I used, this is cotton and super glue. Also around here, cotton and super glue. Looks bad, it looks ugly, but hey. Yeah, there we go. Now, it has HDMI output, but it runs as a headless server. Inside, I used a lot of super glue. Oh no, sorry, two-component epoxy glue. This is piece of paper and epoxy glue. Right? Down there. That's cotton, but that's a cotton ball. And super glue. I used a Meanwell, a 5V 10 amp, and I wired them up. Used a switch from a old broken PC power supply that took the output there and soldered it straight on the bottom of that orange pie. On the top, this one, that's just a piece of paper and super glue. No, epoxy glue. Sorry, epoxy glue. And the base here, that's paper again, super glue. No, epoxy glue, sorry. And you might have noticed a 120 gigabyte hard drive. And the SATA port is on the single board computer. It's not true SATA. It's there's some kind of it's called a SATA to USB or USB to SATA chip. But yeah, it works. And there's even a Wi-Fi module on the single board computer. On the front to the back. in my network, I use a what's called a cable, a network cable, an Ethernet cable. So I will not be using the Wi-Fi. I'm using the cabled network. But yeah, it's tidy. It's nice. And the only thing that I had to buy from new was the electronics project box. See, even the power lid, that's cotton. That's cotton and super glue. No, not epoxy, but super glue. It becomes rock hard. Yeah, there's no super glue there. But that is rock hard. It's tidy. It's built by hand. And kind of, well, back in the 1970s, people would buy a computer as a, well, caseless machine, and then build their own cases. So it's kind of like a homage, or it's a bit like that, but it's a modern computer. And because it has HDMI, I can actually delete what's on the hard drive, install Linux, or, well, if there's a Unix, and use it as a slow desktop computer, as a personal computer. Well, it's a bit like the old ones. Well, on the front is just this power switch. Nothing more. On the top is just a power lid. On the back there are some ports and 220 volt input. That's all. There's no power lid. Oh, sorry, there's no hard drive activity lid or anything. It is what it is. It's homemade from scratch. Well, not exactly. The components were built by factory, but I assembled components into this little neat machine, and I isolated as best as I could the power supply. If that blows up, hopefully the hard drive will be okay. That's only if it blows up. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Oh, yeah, and sorry for my bad English. Yeah, I know I butchered the language. But yeah, thanks for watching.